Breaking news. Meghan Sussex stuns the world in graceful new glimpse. In a breathtaking moment that has captivated millions across the globe, a single image has set social media ablaze, sending waves of admiration, fascination, and unrestrained praise toward Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. The glimpse, shared on Instagram, captures Meghan in an ethereal white gown, standing on a sunlit path with her two beloved dogs by her side. With the California palm trees stretching into the heavens above, and the gentle glow of the afternoon light falling across her figure, Meghan embodies a vision of calm, grace, and natural beauty that seems to defy time itself. The image is simple, yet its simplicity is what makes it so extraordinary. A woman who has lived under the intense scrutiny of the world's most unforgiving spotlight, reclaiming her power and serenity in the most organic and striking way. The white dress she wears floats elegantly with understated sophistication, its soft lines flowing effortlessly as though the fabric itself was woven with peace, resilience, and quiet triumph. Every detail of the glimpse feels deliberate yet uncontrived, a visual narrative of a woman who has endured challenges that would have crushed others, yet who still stands firmly rooted in her values. Her hair cascades naturally down her back, untouched by artificiality, radiating freedom and authenticity. Meghan is not performing for the cameras here. She is simply existing, living truthfully, and in that rawness she finds a deeper resonance with people around the world who look to her as a symbol of empowerment. At her side stand her loyal dogs, guardians and companions in her journey. Their presence adds layers of meaning to the image. The black dog, elegant and strong, remains close, while the brown and white dog walks slightly apart, both embodying loyalty, companionship, and unconditional love. For many, dogs represent not only pets, but reflections of family, guardians of the soul, and symbols of home. That Meghan includes them so prominently in this moment speaks volumes about her priorities, the authenticity of family, love, loyalty, and the grounding power of companionship. This glimpse has already been hailed as a statement of Meghan's place in the modern world. Unlike the rigid and often archaic traditions of royal imagery, where grandeur, jewels, and ceremonial displays define status, Meghan's portrait is refreshingly human. She is not photographed on a throne, adorned in priceless tiaras, or presented in carefully orchestrated pomp. Instead, she is framed by the simplicity of nature, by trees, grass, sky, and sunlight. This is Meghan, redefining what it means to be royal, not through crown or title, but through authenticity, humanity, and connection. She has stepped away from the gilded cages of monarchy and chosen to embrace life as a woman of substance, courage, and dignity. What makes this image even more powerful is its symbolism of liberation. Standing tall with her back turned, Meghan is not looking at the camera, not performing for the approval of tabloids or critics. Instead, she gazes forward into the open expanse of sunlight and sky, as if envisioning the future she is creating for herself, Prince Harry, and their children. It is a gesture of defiance and freedom. She owes no one her face, no one her staged smile, no one her obedience. She is choosing to face forward on her own terms, carrying with her the lessons of the past, but refusing to be trapped by it. Social commentators are already calling the glimpse one of the most striking moments of Meghan's public narrative since her and Prince Harry's historic departure from royal duties. Some have gone as far as to describe it as the image that defines a generation of women who refuse to be silenced. For millions, Meghan represents a mirror of their own struggles against criticism, double standards, and prejudice. To see her standing calmly and beautifully under the California sun is to see a story of victory, perseverance, and grace embodied in one frame. The choice of a white dress is significant as well. White, often symbolizing purity, peace, and renewal, reflects Meghan's journey into a new chapter of her life. It is not the white of naivety, but the white of resilience after struggle, of healing after pain. Meghan's life has been a series of headlines, controversies, and relentless scrutiny, yet she emerges here bathed in light, clothed in serenity, and walking side by side with love and loyalty. The gown whispers of timelessness, echoing an aesthetic that is both regal and modern, understated yet commanding, humble yet powerful. The backdrop of palm trees soaring into the sky emphasizes the Californian freedom Meghan has embraced. Where others might see simple greenery, admirers see symbolism. The roots of those trees run deep, anchoring them into the earth while their heights stretch toward the limitless skies. Meghan herself reflects this duality, rooted in her principles, yet reaching toward higher ideals of freedom, justice, and personal truth. The lush grass and the golden light create a scene almost biblical in its serenity, as though Meghan is standing in a garden of peace, watched over not by the critical eyes of the world, but by nature itself. Already, the glimpse has sparked global discussion on fashion platforms. Designers are praising the quiet sophistication of her choice, noting that Meghan has once again proven her ability to turn understated looks into unforgettable statements. "This is not just a dress, it's a message," one fashion editor remarked. In choosing something so flowing, so natural, Meghan has rejected the need to overstyle herself for public approval. She is saying, "I am enough, as I am," and in that, she has changed the conversation on what it means to be an icon. Critics, who have long tried to undermine Meghan's every move, are being drowned out by an avalanche of praise from admirers who see in her a woman who has reclaimed her narrative. For years, Meghan was subjected to the cruelty of relentless tabloids who twisted her actions, dissected her words, and hurled baseless accusations at her. But in this moment, all of that noise fades away. What remains is Meghan herself, serene, untouchable, victorious. She has no need to shout back at critics. Her mere presence silences them. Supporters from across the globe have filled social media with messages of admiration. "This image is everything," one fan wrote. "It's Meghan telling the world she is free, she is strong, and she is not broken." Another praised, "She is rewriting history with every choice she makes. She doesn't need a palace to be royal. She carries royalty within her." It is not an exaggeration to say that this glimpse will be remembered for years to come as an iconic representation of Meghan's journey. Just as past photographs of leaders, artists, and change-makers came to symbolize entire movements, this serene and powerful image may well stand as the visual representation of Meghan's role in redefining royalty, womanhood, and resilience in the 21st century. And so the world watches, transfixed, as Meghan Sussex stands at the intersection of sunlight and shadow, past and future, silence and statement. She is not simply a duchess, a wife, a mother, or a public figure. She is all of these things and more, rolled into one powerful presence. She has become the voice of resilience for women everywhere, a reminder that grace does not require approval, that power can be silent, and that dignity cannot be destroyed by tabloids or critics. This is more than a glimpse. It is history captured in an image. It is Meghan Sussex, once again rising above noise, cruelty, and doubt, standing tall in the golden light of her own freedom. The world can only watch in awe. The image of Meghan Sussex standing in her garden is more than just a picture. It is a conversation with history. Where once the world looked to gilded palaces and stiff portraits for their definition of grace, now they look to a woman in California sunlight, framed not by ornate thrones, but by the embrace of nature. And in that contrast lies her greatest achievement. Meghan has rewritten the codes of what it means to be admired, what it means to carry influence, what it means to define a cultural moment. She has rejected pomp for peace, spectacle for serenity, and in doing so, she has reminded the world that power does not reside in crowns, but in authenticity. It is easy to forget how rare such authenticity is in the age of endless performance. Public figures often live behind walls of artifice, every gesture rehearsed, every smile staged, every angle calculated. Meghan, in this glimpse, offers something else entirely. She offers truth. She does not pose for the lens, but walks away from it. She does not perform a smile, but allows the natural fall of her hair and the drape of her gown to speak instead. She does not insist on being seen, yet she is unforgettable. This paradox, the quiet refusal to seek attention yet commanding all of it, demonstrates a mastery that transcends media cycles. Observers around the world cannot help but draw parallels between Meghan and other women who reshaped history through grace under fire. Figures like Princess Diana, who found humanity in compassion rather than protocol, come readily to mind. But where Diana was trapped within the palace walls, Meghan has broken free of them. In that freedom lies her divergence, her boldest legacy. She is not a tragic figure, but a victorious one. She has not been caged by her critics, but has turned their words into stepping stones. And unlike so many before her, she has not allowed the relentless gaze of the public to dim her light. She has redirected it, using it to illuminate her truth. The dogs in the glimpse add to the timelessness of the moment. They are not ornaments, but companions, creatures of loyalty who stand beside her without condition. Their presence underscores the values Meghan has always prioritized: family, loyalty, love. In a world obsessed with appearances, Meghan grounds herself in what is real, and those who watch cannot help but see themselves reflected in that grounding. For who among us does not long for the peace of walking under sunlight with those who love us most, free from judgment, free from expectation? The dogs are not just dogs. They are metaphors for the freedom and loyalty Meghan has claimed for herself. What the tabloids once tried to weaponize against her, her independence, her refusal to bow, her determination to live on her own terms, has become the very source of her strength. In this glimpse, all the noise fades. There are no headlines here, no cruel words, no distortions. There is only Meghan, a woman in white, standing tall in golden light. It is the kind of imagery that critics cannot touch. They cannot bend sunlight. They cannot falsify the honesty of a dog's loyalty. They cannot tarnish serenity. And so, for once, the world is forced to see Meghan as she is: untouchable, dignified, radiant. Fashion commentators have continued to marvel at her choice of gown. White, in fashion, is notoriously difficult. It shows every crease, every shadow, every imperfection. And yet Meghan wears it with flawless ease. The gown's cut, soft and flowing, speaks of timeless simplicity. It does not scream for attention, but it commands it. Meghan's fashion has always been more than just clothing. It is communication. Through her wardrobe, she has told stories of empowerment, solidarity, and self-respect. And in this glimpse, her story is one of rebirth and serenity. She has shed the harshness of the world's judgment and clothed herself in purity, in light. It is not the white of naivety, but the white of triumph after trial. Around the world, women have been quick to claim the image as their own inspiration. For many, Meghan represents the struggle of being doubted, criticized, and underestimated. And to see her, calm and unbroken, is to see a reflection of their own resilience. Social media posts across continents echo the same sentiment. "This is what survival looks like," wrote one admirer. Another declared, "She is showing us that no matter what the world throws at you, you can still stand in the light." It is not exaggeration to say that Meghan has become a cultural touchstone, not only for her supporters but for anyone who has ever felt silenced or sidelined. The symbolism of her posture, her back to the camera, her gaze forward, cannot be overstated. It is a declaration that the past is behind her. She is not interested in replaying old battles or indulging old wounds. She is moving forward into her own future, and she invites the world to watch if they wish, but only from behind. She is not offering her face for dissection, her expression for criticism, her eyes for misinterpretation. She is keeping those for herself, for her family, for her truth. It is the most powerful refusal. The refusal to perform for a world that has demanded her performance for too long. In cultural commentary, comparisons have been made to classic works of art. Paintings of women walking into landscapes, poetry that describes light and freedom, sculptures that celebrate grace in simplicity. All have been invoked to capture what this glimpse evokes. Yet Meghan's power lies in the fact that this is not artifice. This is not a staged allegory created by an artist centuries ago. This is real. This is today. This is a woman alive in our time, who has endured extraordinary pressures, standing in her garden and embodying timeless truths. Even those who have tried to diminish Meghan have found themselves silenced by this moment. What criticism can be levied at serenity? What argument can be made against simplicity? What scandal can be invented from the companionship of dogs and the glow of sunlight? The tabloids, once so quick to seize upon every detail, are forced into quiet. And in that silence, Meghan's voice is the loudest it has ever been, not through words, but through presence. And yet the glimpse does more than silence critics. It elevates admirers. It offers a vision of what is possible when one refuses to be broken. Meghan's story, encapsulated in this image, tells us that no matter the scrutiny, no matter the cruelty, no matter the unfairness, one can still stand tall, still walk forward, still find peace. It is a message that resonates far beyond royalty, far beyond celebrity. It resonates in homes and hearts across the world, wherever resilience is needed, wherever freedom is longed for. The legacy of this glimpse will not be fleeting. Like iconic photographs of the past, it will remain etched in cultural memory. When future generations look back at Meghan's story, they will not only read the headlines of struggle, but also see the images of triumph. They will see a woman in white, standing under California palm trees, and they will know that she endured, that she overcame, that she rose. The beauty of this moment lies in its paradox. It is both intimate and universal. Intimate because it is Meghan in her private garden, with her dogs, away from spectacle. Universal because it speaks to everyone who has ever sought peace, authenticity, and dignity. It is a glimpse into her life, but it is also a mirror into ours. And so the image circulates, shared across continents, across languages, across cultures. It inspires, it calms, it empowers. It tells a story of liberation, of resilience, of grace. It is Meghan Sussex, unbroken, untouchable, unforgettable. To all my curious Sussex family, thank you all for watching, and do not forget to subscribe, like, and put a comment. Bye-bye, see you then in our comment section.